This is a gripping story put together by Dr. Insanity about a lover's quarrel turned deadly in the harrowing result of unbridled jealousy.
I don't know what happened. I just walked in on her. I knew she was with our friend Colin.
Did you kill Mo?
No. I enjoyed this live with a glass or three of whiskey and a few of you guys, and here's the highlights if you missed it. All right, this is called Man Horrified After Learning Girlfriend's Evil Secret. Dr. Insanity cracked the YouTube code and he just gets 1 billion views every time he uploads. So let's take a look at what he does and we'll see what happens.
Hey, so, Colin, is that your first name? Yes. Hey, so, do you know Anna?
Last name is Wilson.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
oh.
Here. So, there's really no easy way to say this, sir. So, apparently last night she passed away.
This is Colin Strickland, and he was just told that his ex-girlfriend, Anna Wilson, was brutally murdered only hours ago.
Austin 911, what's your emergency?
My friend is staying with me, and I just walked in, and she's laying on the bathroom floor, and there's blood everywhere.
Austin, please!
Do I stop? I don't know what happened. I just walked in on her.
When cops first arrived at this...
All right, I'm gonna be frank with you guys. I didn't know I was in for a heartbreaker right now. I gotta shift my mindset. I was having the time of my life, and now it's like, what? Fucking vibe change! Oh, fuck, here we go. 0 to 100, guys. Strap in. You never know what you're gonna get on a Leon Lush stream. It's all fun and games. We're talking about fucking life and having fun, and then boom. Terrible 8 million view video about someone getting murdered in their own home. You know what?
Gruesome sight.
That's the roller coaster of life.
Gone wrong, but a series of damning clues found at the crime scene quickly pointed to not just a meticulously planned murder, but a deadly love triangle and a killer that was closer to home than anyone expected.
Did you kill Mo?
No.
My man was balled up.
On May 11th, 2022, police were called to an address after a woman made this disturbing 911 call.
What's the address of the emergency?
It's 1708 Maple Avenue.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
Sorry. I saw this guy. Paul's like, are you supposed to CPR on someone with gunshot wounds? Like, won't that juice the person like an orange? Honestly, Paul, I thought the same thing. I just didn't want to say it in case I would sound like an idiot. So thank you for saying that for me. I think you're right, but I mean, I don't know. Probably like if someone's dead, like that's the last resort. At some point, you just, like, oh man, there's holes everywhere. They're clearly, all right, well, we're just gonna, the cop walked in and she's like, do I stop? That's fucking awful. That's so awful. Cop's like, I don't know. Every time you push on their chest, there's blood squirting out of the bullet holes. You got me. I just, oh boy. Anyway, shout out to Dr. Insanity too, because these are produced quite well. Obviously.
My friend is staying with me, and I just walked in, and she's laying on the bathroom floor, and there's blood everywhere, and I don't know what happened.
Is she awake?
She's not awake. There's blood all over her face and all on the back of her head.
Is she breathing?
No, she's not breathing.
I've got the paramedics on the way to help you. Stay on the line, Kaitlin.
That caller was Kaitlin Cash, and she'd arrived home to find her friend, Mariah Wilson, clinging to life after being shot.
I'm going to be honest, if you're in a pool of blood not breathing, I'm not sure that's the definition of clinging to life. Life has been clung. Life clunged away. You got clunged. Okay, there's no clinging going on there. Clinging has left the chat. Okay, long gone.
Austin, please!
But you have to act like they're clinging, sure.
Do I stop? I don't know what happened. I just walked in on her.
Okay.
Wait 1 second. Let her get up.
Yeah, over here.
Okay, I'll let you go so you can talk to them, okay?
Yeah, headshot.
Love you, John. Thanks, buddy.
Nobody heard any shots? We don't know how long she's been down?
No.
And that's it. Pretty close to it. Yeah. Oh, we got CSF in there.
After assessing
Don't
the
know what that
situation,
means.
officers noticed cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF for
There you
short,
go. Thank
oozing
you.
onto the floor. This fluid surrounds the brain, meaning the bullets had actually pierced her skull and killed her instantly. This meant there was no saving her, no matter what anyone did.
Yeah, clinging left the chat a long time ago. Once you see the CSF, already wrote the eulogy.
But officers could still bring her killer to justice, which is why they need answers right now. Answers that only Cash can give, as she is the only witness that officers currently have.
Do you know if he's talking to anyone or any friends? I know you say you don't live here.
Yeah, no, she was with her friend Colin.
Colin's last name.
Colin Strickland.
Colin Strickland.
Instant suspect.
Yeah, they went swimming.
Okay.
Did you see a gun or anything like that when you were in?
A bullet piece.
Colin? You said Colin Strickland. Strickland? Okay.
Yeah.
And you know where Colin Strickland is, right?
No, but I have his phone number. I can call him.
Or I can give you his phone number. Information from you. You said, so she went swimming with Colin Strickland?
Went swimming. I left to go have dinner with my friends, and then I came back. Yeah, this is my house.
That's your house.
This is my house. She's staying with me.
Right now, police are a bit disoriented as to what exactly went down just hours earlier. They
Yeah?
would soon run into some evidence that would change everything.
Oh, we got all the
We're
bodies. Like I said, 0 to 100, this video is covering something incredibly traumatic for the people involved. And I don't want to, it's hard not to come off as callous, but I do think we have become societally a little bit desensitized because of how much information we consume now, how many of these videos we watch them for entertainment. Like you look at some of the best documentaries on Netflix and Apple TV, like they're crime documentaries documenting some of the most horrific, barbaric shit that happened, 20 years ago. And now we watch it as entertainment. We sit down there and we eat popcorn and we're like, holy fuck, this is crazy. So I don't feel bad about watching this shit as a form of entertainment. It's an indictment on humans in general, but I just think we're at a point where it's like you just become numb to it. And it's like, as long as you can have a little bit of tact and you're not super aggressive with how you talk about it, I think it's okay to watch them and as a community, as a form of entertainment. And that's why we're here. I mean, we've been doing the body cams, which are a step below that, but this seems rather more traumatic than most of the body cams we watch, right? Paul, therapy's so important, but my buddy joined BetterHelp and he was linked up with a cult crystal bullshit lady. He cut all of his friends and family off. Best bud of 15 years. Bro, shut the fuck up. Are you dead ass? So yeah, you're not shitting on therapy is what you're saying, but your buddy joined BetterHelp, who's linked up with a cult crystal bullshit lady, which if you're using crystals in therapy, Lord have mercy, don't let me start. Don't let me start on the tangent. But he cut all of his friends and family off. Best bud of 15 years. That sounds like a kind of a multi-layered problem of your buddy obviously needs some help and he got it from the raw. Yeah, dude, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Okay, we're back.
When I left here at 5:30.
Are you guys friends? You and him are friends, or
I mean, like.
Is this loud enough for you guys?
Well, no.
I can turn it up a little bit if I need to. Oh, never.
Does he live in this area?
He lives in South Austin.
Does she have like a license or wallet up there at all?
Turn up a little bit. There we go.
I mean, she should. Yeah.
She said she's from San Francisco?
Well, she's from Vermont.
Is that a little better?
San
So she came to
Francisco.
visit you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she's here for a bike race this weekend.
Okay. Did her and Collins have an argument at all, do you know?
I don't have any idea.
Love you guys. Thanks for the feedback. That's why I know I can count on you when I'm live.
Him to go swimming.
You guys tell me how it is. That's why I love you.
What time was that?
5.
5 p.m. today?
Yeah. I mean, I can see it in my text messages. I just.
When was the last time you saw her? Was that when you saw her? Or you had eyes on her?
For dinner at 5:30.
So you left dinner at 5:30. What time did you come back?
Right 2 minutes before I called 911.
Okay, so
According to Cash, Mariah had been with Colin, her ex-boyfriend, all day and was home only a few minutes before she was found dead. This made Colin a major person of interest that the cops would interview later on. But for now, there are more pressing matters. It turns out Mariah was in town for a bike race and had brought along with her a $14,000 racing bike, which could have been a massive target for someone. And as the cops would soon find out, that bike was missing. It quickly became a possibility that someone could have been waiting for Mariah to be home alone and attempted to rob the bike, only for Mariah to resist and end up getting killed. This being their only...
Two things. $14,000 racing bike? No idea they existed that expensive. I thought if you're like a professional racer, maybe $4 grand, $5 grand. 14 grand for a bike? What are you racing? Who are you racing? Lance Armstrong's missing testicle? Jesus Christ. Secondly, if you, like, imagine taking someone's life over $14,000. You know what? I shouldn't act surprised. People take people's life all the time over literally nothing. So, maybe, you know, at 14 grand is actually a decent payday compared to the status quo of people that are willing to murder other people. So I guess a $14,000 race bike's actually a pretty good payday if there's going to be murder involved and you're already of that caliber of person. I just can't relate, really.
Lead, officers needed to trace down where this bike went, as it could take them straight to the murderer.
That's her bike. Cover, yeah.
So where would the bike go?
Probably there.
Does she keep the bike in the garage, or where does she keep the bike at?
So if you right through this first unit right here, this is her and these are her leftovers. So
this bike covering the
big, yeah.
So where would her bike be at?
Where would she keep her bike? I mean, it would be right inside the door. Yeah.
Is her bike's inside the door? Is there a bike?
Yo, isn't it kind of...
You see a bike? She said she would put it right by the door. No bike. That's negative, Jobs.
I want to say, it is a little strange to me that, like, this girl who, like, she just saw her friend dead on the ground and her first thought is like, oh, her bike's missing. I don't think I would notice that if I had came home and my good friend, I'm like, performing CPR on my friend with bullet holes. I don't think I would notice the bike.
Officers decided to begin searching the woods nearby, and they made a discovery that showed them they were on the wrong track completely, leaving them with absolutely zero leads.
Zero leads.
Come here. Somebody might be in here. This might be the bike, okay? But hold on. Somebody might be in here.
Rest in peace, jury duty, bro. God bless. It's your civic duty.
Okay. All right. Over there.
I've been dodging jury duty for like 5 years. But it's your civic duty. Do it.
At 432, I located the bike.
Since the bike was dumped nearby, officers suspected that this was placed as a red herring for them to chase.
Thank you, CM.
Officers are being tricked. And if the killer is smart enough to trick officers, they're also smart enough to begin covering up their tracks.
Kearns, I'm going to be on for like...
Officers swiftly moved to gather evidence from the scene, the most important of which are the shell casings from the bullets used.
Another 2 hours.
There's one right there. You said right there. Where? There's one right there. Okay.
Those bullet shells will help cops identify the gun used. Now they just had to find that gun, and the shooter, who officers initially believed could have been Cash. It is for this reason that officers bring Cash back to the police station in order to conduct a crucial test to confirm whether she's innocent or not.
So, let me tell you this up front. By no means in the world do I think that you did any of this, okay? But so what they're gonna do, we're just going to have them swab your hands for gunshot residue. If
What's up, 19?
we don't do this to you, then in court they can say, oh, what about this other person? Why didn't you do this part of the investigation?
A GSR, or gunshot residue swab test of Cash's hands, presented a negative result. Considering that Mariah was in a very narrow space of the home, officers concluded that Kaitlin could not have been the one to murder her. Fortunately, though, Cash did provide an important piece of information. The last person in contact with Mariah was Colin Strickland.
Clearly, by that picture, also a cyclist. You guys know how I feel about cyclists. Okay. Granted, if you're riding a $14,000 competition Bicycle. All right. But if you're just like running around on like a cheap old $1,500 road bike with your little spandex suit on and your little click-in booties, and you're driving on the road and you're looking behind you because cars are wondering if they can pass you or not because you think you're a fucking car, but you're not, and you're in the middle of the fucking right lane. You're like, oh, fuck out of here, dude. Fuck off.
Cops discovered that the two were having drinks at a nearby cafe and have never suspected that this would be the last time that they saw each other. This is why Colin was an important lead who could give officers valuable insight about the events leading up to the murder. But before police went in to interview Colin, they noticed some houses in the neighborhood had CCTV cameras installed, which could possibly help reveal the killer's identity. When investigators watched the footage back, they found something very interesting.
Okay.
CCTV footage revealed this black Jeep driving directly towards Cash's home where Mariah was staying that night. The moment it arrived, Ring cameras caught this gut-wrenching audio. And immediately after the shooting, the killer escaped. Although this was a massive breakthrough, there was one glaring issue. Officers had no way of identifying the driver. After all, the cameras were too grainy and the vehicle was too far away for officers to get a shot of the driver or run the plates. However, only a few days later, they come across something incredibly interesting when going to question Colin Strickland, Mariah's ex-boyfriend. This is the same black Jeep that officers saw on cameras parked right outside Colin's home.
You're good, Naomi. It's fine.
Colin? Yes. First name? Yes. Hey, so, do you know Anna? Mo. They know Mo. Yeah, everybody calls her Mo. Last name is Wilson. Rider, she's a gravel rider. Yes, I do. Okay, so
he's going with like the who's that? Nah, it doesn't ring a bell. Oh, that girl. Yeah, he's going with that defense. That's crazy.
Apparently, last night she passed away. How did?
Oh, this guy's already guilty.
Right now, it's an open investigation, but it is being investigated as a homicide.
Right now, the cops know he was the last person to see her alive. They've discovered a vehicle in his driveway that matches the one captured on security cameras, and it even has a bicycle rack attached to the rear end. Colin Strickland has just become their #1 suspect.
What a dumbass.
But he doesn't realize this yet, as officers continue to question him.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
Do you happen to have her mom's address by any chance? I know that she lives in Vermont. I have an address for her brother, but we're just...
Did you happen to... How do I say this? Shoot her with a gun 3 or 4 times? Did you happen to do that, Colin? Because right now things are looking a little suspicious. I was just saying... I mean, we got the CCTV footage. I don't know if they had that at the time. I think they did, which is why they went there. But
just
good Lord,
Colin.
Someone
to her mom's address instead of us actually calling her over the phone. I didn't know. I don't know an address for her mother. We went to Peabody yesterday afternoon, and then we heard her, and I dropped her at her the apartment she's been staying at. Yeah. Right after about 6:30. Yeah.
The cop intentionally avoided telling Colin how Mariah died, as they do with any suspect in a murder case. But they notice his body language is concerning, as he is barely able to look them in the eyes. This could either be because of pure shock, as the two had spent the previous day together, or in the worst case scenario, he's afraid to look them in the eyes because he had something to do with the murder.
I love that, so they know he spent the whole day with her. And when they approached him and were like, do you know who Anna Morris is? He's like, He's like, she goes by like Mo or something. That's her nickname. He's like, oh yeah, no, I've heard of her. Yeah, brother, you were just with her the entire day. What are we talking about? What are we doing here? What are we doing? You are terrible at lying.
Into Colin's life and his history with Mariah. This is when they discovered Kaitlin Armstrong, Colin's girlfriend who separated from him in October 2021, but then got back together a month later in November. However, during their breakup period, he had a month-long romantic affair with Mariah and remained in contact with her even after he resumed his relationship with Kaitlin. Immediately, officers begin suspecting that Kaitlin could be one of the major suspects in this investigation. These suspicions were further confirmed when they ran the plates of the black Jeep and found that it didn't belong to Colin, but it was actually owned by Kaitlin. Considering that Colin was good friends with Mariah and Kaitlin hated this made her a suspect in this investigation. So to get to the bottom of this, officers bring in Colin 2 days after the murder in order to achieve 2 objectives with 1 interview.
There's one thing, I was growing up, my grandfather, really great guy, just a pure heart, wonderful man. And he would always say to me, he's like, young buck. He's like, listen, you grow up one day, there's 3 things in life you got to understand. He's like, women, don't try to understand them. Okay. Just do it. When you're with one, you just do what they ask you to and your life's going to be better. He said, number 2, he's like, no matter what you think, you're always going to be cucked and have to pay taxes and the government's going to fuck you in the ass your whole life. And the 3rd thing he told me is never, ever trust a man that wears Birkenstocks. And that's playing out right now. We can see that right here. I mean, this guy, the guilty is charged. Put the cuffs on him, send him to put the orange jumpsuit on. There's just no, you know what I mean? Like, Birkenstocks, brother? Okay. You might as well just fucking make a confession right now. What is wrong with you?
We'll be able to see whether Colin has a solid alibi that he can present to the officers. After all, whether he did it or not, Colin was the last person to see Mariah alive. And the second is to gather information that can be used against other suspects, like Kaitlin.
And you said that y'all left around like 6:30 to...
I don't think that's accurate, because we must have left over at about 7:45 or even later, probably maybe more like 8.
Yeah.
Just as it was getting dark.
Okay.
Because we went straight to her place and it wasn't dark yet, but it was...
I got you.
It was cooling off and it was like also an evening. I remember that.
The cops are looking for more than just details of what he and Mariah did that day. They're going to try and figure out why exactly the black vehicle from the murder scene was conveniently parked at Colin's home.
Convenient.
Whenever I was over there earlier, I saw there was the other car, because you said that you drive a motorcycle and then you drove the Mercedes.
Drove Mercedes.
Up here. I guess the other one
is hers. My girlfriend, Kaitlin.
Okay, so that belongs to her. Okay. Yeah. All right, so you got back around like 7:30.
I don't know exactly when that was. I think I texted Kaitlin as I was leaving, just saying, hey, are you still out getting food? Yeah, more like 8:30 is when I dropped her off at her house.
Okay.
Like just before dark. So I texted Kaitlin as I was after I left.
Okay. And that was whenever you...
It says 8:36. And I think she was in her yoga class. She showed up kind of close.
So you're getting back home. She's not home. What time was it that she got home?
Short right after I texted her, probably 9:20 or so. That's 9:21.
Okay. Like where had she been? Like that whole...
She had actually a laser hair removal appointment, she said, at 7 p.m. downtown.
Laser hair removal is important, okay? I think that's a reasonable excuse for him. I mean, you can't just have, you can't just have hairs busting out of your bikini line left and right. You need those lasers to zap those shits. It makes sense that that's what she'd be doing. I just don't know if I trust this guy yet, We don't know. Look at this, 8:30 to 8:45, Kaitlin's whereabouts, we don't know. So now we're talking about Colin's girlfriend. So the girl that got killed, I think, was his ex-girlfriend, and then Caitlin's current girlfriend, and she's the one that's a little bit, we're wondering here? Okay.
And after that, I'm not exactly sure. She had texted me asking if I wanted to meet up, and I didn't reply, and then I didn't see her or hear from her until I was back at home.
And did she say anything like whenever she got home of where she'd been?
No, but she was in her, like, a yoga outfit, carrying a yoga mat.
Although Colin had heard from Kaitlin the night of the murder, he couldn't give her a solid alibi and didn't even know exactly where she did her yoga classes. He also managed to avoid mentioning his romantic affair with Mariah, but he'll soon be left with no choice but to tell the cops everything.
It's always the spiritual ones.
Had you and Kaitlin been dating?
About a year and a half, maybe 2 years, actually.
Okay. And then how long was it that y'all had broken up whenever you and Mo got together?
Not very long, actually.
While you were dating Mo, Kaitlin was still living with you?
She was moving out.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she had another house. She had a sister in town, and
I mean,
yeah, it was definitely very.
I was about to say that would probably be pretty.
It definitely was
awkward.
It was kind of almost like something I felt like I felt like to force the situation, which is stupid. But
so, why was it that you had to change the name from Mo? In your phone?
Just because because in the past Kaitlin has looked at my phone, and I just didn't want to surface.
Basically, that would always start fights.
Exactly.
Basically, nobody else can have you.
Yeah. You know.
Okay, I'm just gonna a little tangent here, gentlemen. If your woman looks through your phone while you are not aware of it, that's an immediate ripcord. You're out of that relationship. Bye-bye. Okay, gonzo. See you later. Done. There's no coming back from that trust barrier. Okay, ladies, if you have the impetus to look through your man's phone, number one, I beg you not to. And number two, if you feel like you have to, also probably pull the ripcord, because you shouldn't need to feel like that. Okay. The only caveat there is that maybe you have some trauma from past relationships where you've been hurt and it feels like you need to validate yourself in this new relationship. But I beg of you, don't do it. The second, here's the deal. This is the real truth right now. The second that either partner starts looking through the other partner's phone in a way that is to implicate them, that relationship is over. Okay, there's no coming back from that. If you are in a relationship where you feel like you need to look through your partner's phone while they're not around, that is an unhealthy relationship, and it's just gonna be a fucking walking through the quagmire trying to get through that shit. I'm just saying. And next thing you know, his ex-girlfriend's got a 9mm and fucking murdering you in the kitchen hallway. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And it starts with just looking through someone's phone. That's how it gets. That's. Excuse me.
I mean, it wasn't exactly unique to Mo or anything.
Yeah, I got you.
After listening to Colin, officers achieved what they set out to do. First, they cleared Colin, who had texts and times to back up his alibi. Secondly, they managed to gather information about Kaitlin, whose entire story is shady. That means that out of the 3 suspects that officers have, Colin, Cash, and Kaitlin, only Caitlin's movements are entirely unaccounted for. This is why cops were now more suspicious of her than ever, but had no irrefutable evidence to arrest Kaitlin. At least, not until the cops searched the police database and hit the jackpot. Kaitlin Armstrong had a warrant on her head for a minor infraction. It was all they needed to bring her in, and then use it as an excuse to question her about Mariah.
All right, so I'm Detective Connor, and so my partner.
I mean, here's the deal. Like, if you're implicated in a murder, I don't think you need to find a pre-existing warrant to bring someone in for questioning. Okay, you just interviewed the boyfriend who was like, I don't know where my ex-girlfriend was, and it was like weird. So the fact that they had some sort of existing warrant is kind of interesting to begin with. I just don't know that's even necessary. Like, you should be able to question her anyways. It's not about that. It's about not letting her know that they suspect her in a murder case. Oh, okay. Yeah, I should watch before I open my fucking fat mouth. My big gargantuan diabetic fat mouth. So they're playing a little loop, swoop, and pull. It's like, oh, we're not here to question you about a murder. We're here because of this infraction, but also, where were you on this night? Okay, so they're getting a little sneaky with it.
There's actually talking to Colin right now. So I wanted to come in here and start chatting with you and everything, so you don't have to wait super long. So it sounds like you may have some information, may witness something. So I just wanted to chat with you about some stuff.
Jake, you're a legend.
But you're here for a warrant right now, I guess. Are you familiar with what you have going on with that?
No idea.
Okay, so I guess it was like a theft of service warrant, something kind of minor. Nothing. Okay. So
Theft of
that's
service?
just why you're here. You've got a theft of service warrant. That's why you got picked up today and everything. So I was just letting you know on that.
All right, just real first assessment. This interrogator is shitting her pants nervous. Like, clearly she knows what her job is, and she's like, I just you're not here because we think you murdered this chick, I promise you. You're here because of a theft of fucking war. Oh, good. Go on with yourself.
Observe how the detective maintains an almost nonchalant demeanor, despite the gravity of the situation. This is deliberately done to create a sense of security for Kaitlin, ensuring she remains unaware that she is under any suspicion by the police.
That bitch would have made me so
Despite
nervous.
This, Kaitlin appears noticeably tense and uneasy.
Can you tell me
nonchalant
what it was that was the theft of service?
I can look. I'm not sure what it is at this point, but I can look that up later and get you a little bit more information on it.
You don't even know what the goddamn charge is? You're tasked with trying to convince her that she's not there because she just put 4 bullet holes in a bitch fucking 10 hours earlier? And you're like, we have this warrant, but I don't really know what it is, but I promise you, you're here for something not about murdering the girl you just murdered. Come on, bro. Step up your game.
Not for sure. But because you are here and because you were under arrest for that portion of it, we always have to read Miranda and stuff because I want to talk to you about some other stuff that's unrelated to that.
The officer has ignored Kaitlin's questions about her warrant because she is more focused on digging up information about Mariah's murder, a tactic that becomes dangerous as Kaitlin begins to raise concerns about her legal counsel.
If I have an existing warrant and you don't know what it's about, do I need an attorney here?
So the warrant is just a Class B, just theft of service type thing. The reason I'm here is because your name came up during a conversation with Colin. I think there's a lot more information that you have that can kind of explain some of the stuff he's saying. But to be able to do that, I have to read you your rights, just so that you know and you're protected and things like that. Okay.
I don't know, like, so I'm not into, I don't, like, I know a lot of you guys are like true crime true crime fucking connoisseurs, and I watch this stuff once in a while, but like this to me feels like a very flimsy tactic. Like this girl, like she's not impressing me with how she's handling this situation at all. I understand what they're trying to do, but it feels like she's dropping the ball a little bit. Just my observation.
Okay, and so if you're reading me my rights, then I should
That's because of the warrant, because you're under arrest for the warrant.
She called it it's like a theft of service type thing. Kaitlin's sitting there calm and collected, just diabolically stone cold, just fucking pumped 5 bullets in a broad 12 hours earlier. She's like, so am I gonna need my attorney here? Or she's like, well, it's like, well, I don't, really, it's like a theft of service type thing. And like, so what the reality, like, and what happened is like, so like the theft of service, it actually was a thing. And like when Colin said that, it's like, no, you played your hand, you blew it. I mean, they're still going to catch her. Don't get me wrong.
So you're technically in custody because of that warrant. So they're 2 separate things. Does that make sense?
I think so, but I have never heard.
Even
Bad
though
cops
they have
here.
Kaitlin exactly where they want her, one tiny mistake is about to allow someone cops suspect to be a killer to walk away scot-free.
Well, good news. So that's what they were just knocking on the door is apparently that warrant, the date of birth was wrong. So it had your name, but the date of birth is wrong. So it's to a different person. So you're not under arrest, okay?
Okay.
I know, it's a little crazy.
Although the cop tries to make a joke of the situation, Kaitlin now knows that she can leave whenever she wishes. After all, cops have no legal ground to hold her any longer.
So now you tail her, right? Like, is this a tactic to be like, all right, she feels like you give her like a little bit, you give her a little dose of like, ooh, okay, something went in my direction, and now you tail her? Or like, what's that? Is this on purpose? Because that felt super negligent.
This is why it's down to this cop to try and convince her that talking is the right thing to do.
But I would really like to talk to you and clear some stuff up because Colin...
Okay, we just brought you in under false pretense because we got a date wrong on a warrant that's not even you, but I would love to talk to you and clear some stuff up. Shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of here. I am so fucking what are you talking about? What even is this tactic? I might be a moron, but I feel like this is insane. Like I'm sure she gets caught because like when you murder someone in cold blood and then you're getting interrogated 12 hours later, and so obviously you're gonna get caught. But this interrogation tactic to me is completely negligent. Like, what are you? I'm sorry. Yeah, you're. This is crazy. We actually got the wrong date of birth and we brought you in by accident. But I'd love you to stick around and clear some stuff up. What are you fucking saying, dude? What are you talking about?
Did bring your name up, and I think there's a lot more information that you have that can kind of clear some stuff up. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I feel like I should have an attorney present.
Yeah.
So that's totally your choice. So at this point, you are free to leave at any point. So this is consensual at this point because you're not under arrest. Okay.
To make matters worse, Kaitlin has just requested an attorney. Legally, the detective is now bound to cease any and all questioning related to Mariah's murder. But she's about to thread a very dangerous line of breaking the law in order to get any information out of Kaitlin.
I would love to leave.
He would love to
leave. Arrested me in front of my house, in front of all of my neighbors, and carried me in here in handcuffs in front of downtown Austin. It was incredibly
I can only imagine. Yeah. And I'm so sorry. I don't have control over that part. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not upset with you.
So there's a situation that's going on. Did you hear about what's happened over the past 24 hours?
Colin walked in the house and said one of the women in the cycling community passed away.
Yes. Yeah. While Colin was talking to us, your name came up. And so that's where I would really like to talk to you, because it sounds like there were some issues between you and this girl, and I think that there's probably a lot more to it that you could help explain.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly what you mean or what information you'd like.
So it sounds like maybe he went out with this girl the other day, and maybe it sounds like from what he's saying that you were a little upset about it. And so that's why I kind of wanted to get your side of it, because that's not fair if he's just saying one thing and trying to go down a route, and I want to make sure that's not the case.
That is not accurate.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to chat with you, because it's a guy. He's going to say stuff. And so we want to make sure that we get both sides of the story and everything and clear it up.
I'm trying to understand if this was an intentional tactic to put this Valley girl in there and be like, oh, well, it's a girl. Girls can relate to girls. You don't want to put like this intimidating 55-year-old detective in there and be like, yeah, tell me about what you were doing between the hours of 9:30 and 10:30 on Tuesday night. It's like she's going to clam up attorney, but like maybe in a weird way, you're like sending this unassuming fucking ditzy idiot in there, and she's like, like first she fucked up on like the warrant, and now so like you're building her confidence. So maybe it's like 4D chess, right? That's what I'm like, maybe because like she said lawyer 3 times, but she still hasn't actually said like give me a lawyer. She's like, should I attorney up? And they're just like, well, it's like a warrant of like on a birth date arrest, and we got the birth date wrong, and so in her head she's like, I guess I don't really need an attorney. And then she's like, but also we think you killed this girl, and she's like, but not really, but like so Colin, like you guys used to fucking and then like, but also he fucked Mariah, so like what was going on there? But like, I'm sorry, but you can go at any time. What is this tactic? I've never seen this before, but it like maybe it works. Like maybe I that's why I'm not in the business, because
what
makes no sense to me.
What were you doing yesterday?
I would like to leave, I think.
You'd like to leave?
Yeah.
Okay. But understand, if you do, then we only have one side of the story to go on. Mm-hmm. And from what we're hearing from Colin, you know, it's one side, and
well, I just am uncertain as to even what you mean or what he could have said, because I didn't have any idea that he saw or went out with this girl.
Okay, yeah.
Recently.
Has he been like talking to her on the side?
Leave. I don't actually know, and I would like to leave.
There you go.
At this point, getting Kaitlin to talk willingly seems like a lost cause. She knows she can walk out of the station and nobody can stop her. So the detective decides to drop their bombshell evidence in the hope she might crack.
And your vehicle was seen next to her house, and we needed to talk about that, okay? Because when he's saying this stuff and then your vehicle is seen, like, I want to be able to explain, okay, there's a logical explanation for this. Maybe you were upset and you were just in the area or something. Like, I don't know, because I don't have your story. When I can't explain that and all I see is that your vehicle's over there, that kind of makes it look not too good, right? Okay. And then when we're talking to Colin and we're hearing like, yeah, there was some jealousy stuff going on. Like, that doesn't sound very good.
Okay, guys, we're turning a corner here. I'm starting to believe that they used the right tactics. All she had to do was actually ask a real question after 13 minutes of fluff. Maybe that's what you need. Like, you just need to send in the dummy, right? Like the pretend dummy. Like maybe she knows what she's doing. And now it's like, by the way, but like, and you can go at any time, but honestly, like, we saw your car there, like right when she got murdered. And like, Colin told us that you were a wicked jealous. Can't say that on live stream. I'll get demonetized and fucking my channel will get terminated. You were a wicked jealous bitch. So like, I'm liking where this is headed. She's turning the corner.
And so that's why I really want to get your side of the story, because maybe there's a lot more going on.
I would like to leave if I am free to leave.
Okay.
Clammed up, did you?
Unfortunately, there was nothing that officers could do to stop Kaitlin from walking out. At this point, they were incredibly suspicious of her, as her behavior throughout the interrogation meant that she was hiding something. But if officers couldn't find out what this was from Kaitlin, they'd do it from the one person who knew her best, Colin Strickland, who was called in a second time for an interview in hopes of uncovering more information about Kaitlin. However, there is one problem. This time, Colin brought his lawyer with him, and questioning him is about to become exponentially harder.
How was Kaitlin during that time? I guess it's my understanding she wasn't too happy whenever she saw Mo.
Kaitlin after Mo was in Austin for a week, and Mo and I had broken up with Kaitlin before Mo came to town, and then I actually did not know that she was coming to Austin in October. I had no idea. We hadn't discussed that, and I don't think so, because it felt like a surprise. And then she was here, and I just said, "Oh, let's hang out." So I was mentally ready to kind of move on. And I know after Mo left town after a week, Caitlin's things were still at my house. We were sleeping in separate rooms, and effectively, Kaitlin was on Bumble. I know she had made several dates with people. I don't know. I never asked like what extent they were evolving a relationship, but I know that she had several men that she was dating of sorts, and I was fine with it. I mean, that was kind of the understanding. Yeah, it just seems very weird to me that there would be any dwelling on.
Take it easy, Brandon. Thanks, buddy.
Dating on a person when she was like, moving on to other relationships, at that time.
From what Colin says,
cheers, Austin.
The two clearly had a troubled relationship, especially considering the facts that both Colin and Kaitlin rebounded while on break. This is why officers need to dig deeper into what Kaitlin acted like both during and after this time to determine if she showed obsessive traits in her personality.
It's just kind of going back to, me just trying to figure out, like, just kind of how she is, her personality and stuff. I mean, if you were to ask me about, like, hey, how was your wife? Well, yeah, I'm going to tell you, yeah, she's always happy. But does she get mad? Yes, everybody gets mad. That's natural. I'm not going to blow that out of proportion. Do I think that my wife could go and kill somebody? No. There's no way in the world. Do I think my wife would hit somebody? No. Now, if you ask me that about my 6-year-old son, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he wouldn't punch somebody.
I think Kaitlin would hit somebody. No, I honestly don't, because it would be too. I don't know. Do I think Kaitlin could kill somebody? No, I don't.
If Kaitlin had been planning to murder Mariah, Colin was about to make it clear he suspected nothing all along.
No, we're doing more videos, Rever.
I think y'all need to stop talking to each other. You need to separate yourselves from each other while the fact finding is going on. That's something that would be helpful.
Of course.
And so I don't think there's been very much. There's definitely not been any being together.
Since she left and I left Friday midday, eventually to get a new SIM card for my phone, which I assumed was okay.
Yeah.
Had the same number.
You're allowed to have a phone.
Yes. Right. Yes.
And then saw.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you get a new SIM card for your phone because she was a crazy bitch? Like, there's very few instances where you need a new SIM card, unless you need a new number to avoid being stalked by a crazy bit or something. I didn't catch the context really, but
Claire, since then I haven't spoken with Kaitlin or seen her. And
saw her on Bumble though.
Like, so the two detectives came by my house yesterday, looked at that, asking if she was there, if I had seen where she was. And my father had contacted her yesterday morning. He had gotten in touch with her. I gave him the number that Kaitlin had given our mutual attorney.
Has she ever mentioned in the past of wanting to hurt Mo?
No, she's never mentioned wanting to physically hurt.
Okay. Do you think that she is capable?
If I thought she was physically capable of hurting another human, I would have extricated myself immediately from that situation. Not only not so much for my own personal safety, but my concern for another human.
So what's that answer?
The answer is no.
Okay.
I don't believe in any way she's capable of that.
Okay. The gun range that she visited with her sister, do you know where that gun range is?
I think it was on South I-35. I told them to go to the Reds, which is now something else, which is the one I drove past on my way to school for 12 years.
You bought the guns, right?
I bought the guns, yes.
When was that?
I think early December.
Okay.
There's a receipt with them. I'm sure you could look at the receipt.
In an ironic twist, Colin had bought Kaitlin a gun for self-defense, but after police conducted a firearm examination, it just so happened that the bullets it used were the same caliber that were found near Mariah's body.
Of course.
So far, the cops had evidence of Kaitlin's car at the scene, they knew about her obsessive behavior, and they knew she owned the same model of gun that was used to kill Mariah. But while they searched for her whereabouts, the investigation continued to uncover crucial and damning evidence that not only heavily suggested Kaitlin was responsible for Mariah's death, but also cleared Colin of any wrongdoing. The cops gathered all...
okay, Colin, you might not have killed someone, but you're getting arrested for wearing this.
Was responsible for Mariah's death, but also cleared Colin of any wrongdoing.
What is that, bro? Are you kidding me? No, I didn't kill Kaitlin. She couldn't murder anybody. Look at my hat. Look at my cool little fuck. What is that, dude? Are you fucking crazy? Is that a condom? Oh, I can't even deal with people like this. What are you doing? I'm not even one to shame people for what they wear, but in this instance, like that hat? He's a handsome guy. Like the Birkenstocks was one thing, but that fucking condom hat? What is the deal, bro? Put this man in jail with Kaitlin. Send them both away for life. I've fucking had it.
The cops gathered all cell phone data and compared it to the surveillance footage, allowing them to map the movements of Mariah, Colin, and Kaitlin on the night of May 11th, 2022. Colin and Mariah were at Pool Burger after their swim and were there around 7 p.m. When they left, they headed to Maple Avenue, but didn't realize that Kaitlin was stalking them and was driving in the same direction. Kaitlin thought that turning off her cell phone would cover her tracks.
That's
but
crazy.
The surveillance footage caught her, and what it shows is a black Jeep eerily similar to Kaitlin's closing in on the house where Mariah was killed. As Colin dropped Mariah off at the Maple Avenue address, both were completely unaware that Kaitlin was secretly stalking them only yards away. The same black Jeep had driven down the back alley of Maple Avenue and was slowly heading toward Mariah's address. Moments after Colin left, a neighbor's doorbell camera captured audio of Mariah screaming for her life before she was murdered. Colin's cell phone placed him driving away from the area before Mariah's death and cleared him as a suspect. This meant that the only person who could have killed Mariah was Kaitlin. All that was left to do was arrest her. But when officers went to find her, they discovered a massive problem. Just hours before they solved the murder, Kaitlin had left the country under a fraudulent passport, which was originally her sister's.
Bro, all right, dude. That's so much to take in here. A couple things I want to point out. All right. The first is we already all know this, obviously, but the level of accuracy in which an investigation can pinpoint your every single move in today's age is absolutely insane. Like there is nothing's premeditated. There's no vlogger filming something. This is a situation where this bitch thought she could turn off her cell phone, stalk her prey, shoot this girl with a gun and get out of there And in hindsight, after a little bit of time goes by and a little investigation, there is almost uninterrupted footage of her entire trip in her car following them, footage and audio of her killing her, cell phone location evidence down to the foot of where everyone was at the time, minus Kaitlin, taking away the implication of the boyfriend. Like, you just can't do shit, dude. I'm sorry. This day and age, you can't pretend like, oh yeah, let me just erase the messages and turn my phone off and nobody will be able to know what I'm doing. Bro, you are being tracked every second of the fucking day. Are you kidding me? You can't do shit because someone's gonna know about it. There's gonna be a CCTV camera with you on it. There's gonna be a standby recording you doing it. You have to come correct right now. You cannot do shit. You're looking at like, when you watch like CSI in 2008 and it's like, oh, they have the DNA evidence and like the fucking, we take the little microfiber off the couch and blah, 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 like the fucking science, like the science B-roll. It's like, it's fucking the couch of it. No, everything is fucking recorded and your whole life is being tracked. There is absolutely no fucking chance you can do shit like this. And the ignorance and the hubris it takes to think that you can do some shit like this and get away with it, to then go in the next night casually and sit like this and deliver an interview to someone who was a shit interviewer, by the way. And she's like, no, I think I want a lawyer. Insane, bro. You're never getting away with it. Especially in some like white suburban town. Like, come on, no chance. If you like live in like Chai Rock and you're from like O Block and just people are killing each other all the time, like, yeah, you're a little more likely to get away with something like this. But you gotta pick and choose where you're doing your shit. Come on, dude.
Kaitlin likely did this to avoid using her own passport in case officers were keeping tabs on her, but the fraudulent passport gave her enough time to escape. After getting a search warrant for her Gmail records, officers found a flight ticket that was booked for a one-way flight to Costa Rica. Even CCTV footage obtained from Austin Bergstrom International Airport in Austin showed her boarding into the plane. An initial investigation into her records showed that she had booked a hostel in Santa Teresa Beach while working as a yoga instructor. So, to lure her out, an officer sent a message out on social media asking for a yoga teacher in the local area. Soon, Kaitlin took the bait and replied to the ad and agreed to meet up.
That is fucking awesome. That is, they knew everything about this bitch. They baited her with yoga lessons? Oh my God. That is insane. Holy fucking shit. Oh man. Mr. Runnard says smart move would have been to put the cell phone 30 miles away, then travel to the target, perform the action, return the cell phone, plausible alibi. Yeah, there's like a million, like, don't get me wrong, like if you're really a sick fuck, you could be much better at premeditating something and probably get away with it. It happens, but this just goes to show the negligence. Like it's ignorance. So you think, oh, let me just shut off my cell phone and then get baited by a fucking cop pretending like he wants yoga lessons. You fucking idiot. You deserve to go to jail. Not because you're a horrific, disgusting, gratuitous, violent murderer and evil, but because you're fucking stupid. You're a fucking idiot. Oh my God. You're more guilty of being an absolute dumbass than you are of being an evil murderer. Or equally so, maybe.
But in the month that she'd been on the run, she'd taken some extreme measures in order to conceal her identity. Kaitlin had undergone several surgical operations to alter her appearance, but there was no fooling the arresting officer, who recognized Kaitlin from her eyes. She was arrested and flown back to the United States, where she was charged with attempted murder. However, that wasn't the end of it, because in October 2023, Kaitlin tried to escape again by taking advantage of a doctor's appointment outside of jail. She can be seen here fleeing from the cops after she jumped from a bathroom window. This time, she was caught almost instantly. If the several attempts to escape justice and falsifying of documents weren't enough to convince a jury Kaitlin was guilty, then the surveillance footage and the testimony of Colin Strickland, and most importantly, the ballistic analysis that matched the gun to the shell casings found at the scene of the crime certainly were enough to convince them. Consequently, a year and a half later, on November 16, 2023, Kaitlin was found guilty of first-degree murder, and she was sentenced to 90 years in prison for the cold-blooded murder of Mariah Wilson.
90 years did life. Wow. Shout out Dr. Insanity, because that video's done well. There's no secret why his channel's fucking been ripping for the last year and a half. What a story. Man, what a story. As always, if you want to recommend anything that you might want to watch together on stream, you can just send it to submit@brainworms.com. And of course, I'll find some videos to watch as well. We'll talk to you guys soon. You have a great rest of the night, all right? I love you guys. Deuces.